This is the latest addition to the garden that Julie has decided that she needs, including a extra large tub for it to go in. It's called a fatsia, but Julie knows best. More plants that Julie's put in, they should look nice. Another dahlia survived the winter. Done well with dahlias this year. And the hosta's looking really good. The garlic spray seems to make a difference. So if you are worried about slugs, then garlic spray. And here, chrysanthemums that have survived the winter as well. Either we're doing something really good, or we aren't getting very cold winters. This is the kiwi fruit, looking very lush and green. It's a lovely colour, but no flowers and no fruit. That's the sad bit. The blackberry bushes survived the storms, got battered, but lots and lots of flower buds beginning to form, which hopefully will mean that the grandchildren will have lots of blackberries to pick without getting prickled, because it's a thornless blackberry. No pears on the pear tree, but we knew that. Maybe next year. And here, if I can focus on it, is grape flowers. I think I'm pointing in the right direction. Grape flowers, which will hopefully turn into grapes in the future. Fig tree is looking, there's a fig tree with a grape flower growing through it. Fig tree is doing okay. And here we've even got an apple or two, if I can focus in on it. Don't know if it's there. Very difficult to see with the glare of the sun. There's some more apples there. I'm sure I've got it this time. Yeah, not many, but Aquilegia, flowering for a long time. This one is just beginning to go to seed there, but beautiful plant, that one. There's a poppy coming up, just reseeded itself, just suddenly appeared. And the valerian, which is a beautiful plant, grows wild. See it in Turner's Hill growing along the streets, but you've got to be careful. Some people get irritated, their skin gets irritated by it. And over here, this rose is a real picture. If this camera will focus in on it. Beautiful. The cherries, there are a few cherries on this, but the problem is this variety is what's called self-sterile, so it needs another cherry tree, as I explained before in a previous video, to cross-pollinate. Now, although we have got the other cherry, which produced some flowers, there weren't many, so there wasn't a lot of cross-pollination going on, and also it requires lots of insects. I'm not sure how many insects there were at the time when they were needed. It was maybe a bit cold, but this, being the plum tree, is self-fertile, so it pollinates itself. There you go, some plums coming on. So there's a few plums. There's a lot less because the pigeons ate the flowers, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this, and next year we should get quite a few. Looking forward to that. And this are Loganberries, which are covered in flowers, and as you can see, the flowers are turning into small fruit. Behind the flowers, there's the flowers. And behind the flowers, there's small fruit. Looking forward to that as well. Beetroot coming on. Yeah, this is a Boltardi beetroot, which is looking really healthy there. And this one is called, I think it's bull's blood beetroot, because the leaves are very red and are very good for eating salads, as a salad. So you pick the leaves and then later on you get the beet. Potato bin recovering from the frost, beginning to look healthy. There's the poor old cherry tree. It's got zapped with black fly at the moment, but we'll see. I'll put some soap solution on that and hope that helps. Monge 2's coming on. These potatoes are really quite far behind because of the frost and they're being a little bit late in. This is Grushovka tomato, and if you have a look, don't know if you can see it, but at the top there are tomato flowers just beginning to form. If that's focused. Shallots and onions looking good. Dwarf kale going into the allotment soon, I hope. Some broccoli going into the allotment soon. Some more of these red fire plants that Julie's growing, and Tithonia, that are going to go into the garden and maybe other people's gardens. Here is sweet corn coming up, and I tried a different method of germinating them, and put it on a plate, on a tissue, a wet tissue, cover the seeds with another wet tissue and leave it to germinate, and when it does you pop them in the pots. And there is an example of almost 100% germination, where sweet corn is notoriously difficult. So I'm really pleased with that. Put them in the allotment soon, a couple of weeks or a week. These are courgettes, runner beans there, tomatoes and a couple of cucumbers, all waiting for a home if I don't use it myself. And the grandchildren enjoyed some of these radishes that are in there somewhere, if you can see them. There's not many left now. Bonnie does like her radishes, but there are more coming here, but that's a little way off yet. So there's some more runner beans. There's Brussels sprouts and black kale, which is a tall type of kale that lasts the winter. So, and there is a cucumber, a gherkin. So it's going to climb up this frame here and produce hopefully lots of gherkins. And as you can see, this tomato plant here is coming on really nicely, but it's one of those vine tomatoes, so you have to pick out the side shoots so that it just grows one vine straight up. And so that needs tying into that cane that's next to it, so it'll grow up to the height of the greenhouse and hopefully produce. That's a crimson blush. There's a ruby one next to it, a little bit behind, but doing pretty well. And there's the Deli Star cucumber, which is a yellow one, which is really sweet. Can't recommend that enough. If ever you have a greenhouse and want to grow cucumbers. So things are looking good. I've got a courgette in here, which is okay at the moment. So things are pretty good.